Now, Facebook has admitted that the scale of a personal data breach involving the research firm Cambridge Analytica was far larger than previously estimated. RT's Caleb Maupin has details.
Well, we now have Facebook admitting that most of its 2 billion users probably had their information revealed in an unauthorized manner. Now, when the New York Times first broke the story in mid-March, we heard that it was 50 million users of Facebook that had their information handed over to Cambridge Analytica. Now, we later heard that it was 87 million people who had their Facebook profiles handed over to this research firm, and that the majority of them were in the United States. Now, the firm that has been using this information, it's called Cambridge Analytica, and essentially it does data collection and polling and analysis for political parties, political campaigns, and groups. They use this information essentially to craft their messaging, craft their campaigning in a way that would be persuasive. They kind of create a psychological profile of potential voters based on what they've collected from Facebook and social media. They then use that information to craft their campaign advertising, their messaging, etc. Now the data harvesting happened in a tacit agreement with Facebook. Now, Facebook says they had no malicious intent. However, this has really hurt their reputation. The government of Germany actually went as far as asking for a clarification from Facebook, for an explanation. We also have seen the trend delete Facebook all over social media, with people, tweeting out, delete Facebook, calling for people to stop using Facebook in response to this perceived, dissemination of people's personal information. We now have an apology from Mark Zuckerberg, the chief of Facebook. This is what he said.
We need to make sure that there aren't any other Cambridge Analyticas out there, right? Or folks who have improperly accessed data. We need to make sure that we don't make that mistake ever again.
So at this point, it's revealed that essentially almost all of Facebook's 2 billion users probably had some of their information accessed without their permission in an unauthorized manner. Now, that's very, very big, and a lot of questions are being asked. Now, we do know that Facebook is now in the process of changing their apps, and so that certain apps are more protected, and that the privacy of their users is more protected. But as we see, this call for Facebook to be deleted, for people not to be using Facebook, is expanding. So a lot of questions are being raised, and it's certainly true that the reputation of this very widely used social media app is severely tarnished.
All right, we asked internet law expert Yair Cohen and media analyst Timothy Carr for their views on the Facebook data scandal.
Cambridge Analytica is denying the figure. They claim that it is only 30 million, but I don't think it makes a lot of a difference whether it's 30 million or 80 million. I think it is the principle behind this. The whole story about the use of internet robots, as we call them, bots, in order to meddle with the U.S. election is now, the whole story seems now a little bit out of date, a little bit ridiculous. Nobody is talking about it, but it was very interesting to hear Mr. Zuckerberg only a couple of weeks ago almost apologizing for allowing Cambridge Analytica to have access to data that was then being used to influence election, as if the story was about influencing election by third parties, say by Russia, rather than accessing users' data unlawfully.
This is a company that grew so rapidly that the people who were managing Facebook lost control of their creation. And the whole business model of Facebook is built on this idea that they collect highly targeted data on their users and then sell that data to advertisers and others. And there just wasn't enough oversight of that process. Facebook now wants to say that they can police themselves internally. They can solve these problems with their own oversight. But I think that, there's a legitimate reason that that's not good enough, that we need to look at a new regulatory framework that will protect the privacy of users of social media, not just Facebook, but people who go on Google and other popular platforms.